This durian is worth billions of dollars, yet its stench index reaches a staggering level 10,000. If an ordinary person catches a whiff, the mildest consequence is a century-long coma. The worst outcome is instant death. Its potency rivals that of a biological weapon. Even passing trains make emergency stops. Passengers on board would immediately seal their windows shut. Alu knew full well the terror of the nuclear durian. The moment they stepped off the train, a wave of stench engulfed them. Komatsu nearly vomited, but Alu merely smiled, for he knew the stench was still mild. When a ripe durian falls to the ground, the stench it releases can wipe out all life within a 100-kilometer radius. Yet Aru understood, the more foul the smell, the more delicious the taste. But Komatsu couldn't grasp why Aru's sense of smell was 2,000 times stronger than a normal person's. Why couldn't he smell the stench? Alu explained he endured it out of profound respect for ingredients. Even the foulest odors were bearable to him. Xiao Song was moved by his words, but soon, both their faces contorted from the stench. Xiao Song couldn't take it anymore. He set down his backpack to put on a gas mask. Alu urged him to persevere. He declared that only without protective gear could the durian sense their sincerity. Komatsu froze upon hearing this. They walked from daylight into night. Starving, Aru prepared to eat some bread to stave off hunger. Unexpectedly, the food instantly rotted. With no other choice, they pressed onward. Yet the closer they got to the durian, the more intense the stench in the air became. Just as the stench threatened to suffocate them, the nuclear durian finally came into view. The enormous durian tree was covered in sharp thorns, its fruit fully ripe. Enduring the stench, they prayed for it to fall. But the next second, their clothes began to corrode from the odor. As the durian prepared to drop, Alu's face contorted into the most terrified expression he'd ever made. The moment the durian hit the ground, the entire world could smell that horrifying stench. Even the strongest individuals were on the verge of collapse. Sani fainted instantly. The two men at Ground Zero were knocked unconscious by the fumes. Fortunately, Alu possessed a natural resistance to foul odors and regained consciousness shortly after. But the moment he stood up, the stench knocked him out again. After 2 hours of endurance, they finally acclimated to the stench and successfully carried the nuclear durian back to the hotel. However, the instant they entered the hotel, all the guests fled in panic. Sani, who had returned to the hotel, was about to invite them to dinner. The next second, he collapsed from the stench. It seemed the two had been thoroughly pickled in durian flavor.